Congressman, thank you for being here.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Governor Bryant has issued a statement encouraging voters in the upcoming election to voluntarily present their ID, which has created a bit of confusion as far as the voting populace is concerned. So, seeing as the majority of voter fraud comes from voter or absentee voting, how can we justify requiring voter ID, which could potentially disenfranchise a number of citizens, especially when voter fraud is probably the least of our problems in facing our nation?
So you've answered your question. You want me to answer it too? Look, it's a fair question. And the question, for those of you who might not have heard, Governor Bryant has said, why don't you voluntarily present your ID when you go to vote, even though you're not required to do so, is the question. And then, as part of your question, you assume that we don't have voter fraud or that it's not a significant issue. And we can talk about voters being disenfranchised or whatever side of the argument, because there's a valid argument on both sides on that. But let's look at what the real issue is here. The real issue is everybody that is legally entitled to vote, that wants to vote, ought to be able to vote. We agree on that, wouldn't we? And that's what you want to have happen. The voter ID issue, look, there are lots of ways to commit voter fraud. And one thing being the chairman of the elections subcommittee, we deal with a lot of issues. I know everybody that's a poll worker there, so it's not ever an issue for me.